What's happening, guys? I'm Anthony. This is the Silver Screen Analysis. Today we're talking Hunter Killer, coming to theaters this weekend. It has an ensemble cast with names like Gerard, Butler, Gary Oldman, Michael Nyquist, Linda Cardellini, and Common, with Donovan Marsh coming in to direct in what is definitely his largest project by far. The story of this one is very 90s fictionalized military action movie-esque. You have an untraditional submarine commander that's going to have to work with some Navy SEALs to rescue a Russian president who's been kidnapped by a rogue army that's attempting a government coup. It's formulated, it's filled with cliche characters, but I have to admit it definitely worked for me. I'm not going to go as far as to say this was a great movie, but it was much better than I was expecting. It did manage to entertain me. I was afraid it was going to give me nothing more than Gerard Butler looking serious as a submarine commander, which it definitely did, but it delivered that and more than enough effort and story dynamics to be an entertaining time at the cinema. I thought the story wove genuine suspense and tension when it needed to. There was just enough personality in the performances to make up for the lack of backdrop, and the result to me was routine characters performed by familiar faces that kind of made the most out of the material. I wouldn't say you could connect with or care about these characters, but they had just enough charm and screen presence to hold my interest. The first act does get going very quickly, but the middle of the film does kind of drag a bit before a very satisfying third act. The film hovers around that 2-hour mark, and it did drag a bit at times given the progression of the plot was not nearly as fresh and intricately woven as the film tried to give you the impression of. I did, though, thoroughly enjoy the underwater submarine sequences and the aerial shots out at sea that really captured the military fleets, and it all resulted in some great action. Had the script kind of cut out some of the unneeded layers, it really would have tightened things up nicely to give the film that true fast-paced action vibe that it had flashes of, because there were some legitimately climactic moments that had me up in my seat during this movie. The cast performances across the board were all solid. Butler was his routine chin-up, chest-out caricature, and it actually did work for this role. He does a lot of staring in this one, and he was able to convey some intensity and emotion without dialogue. And Gary Oldman, as much as I love him, he was his usual person in charge persona. He's a fantastic actor, but when he isn't challenged and he's given a smaller role like this that he's played before, the performance is naturally going to just feel familiar. Linda Cardellini and Common were both more than serviceable. They put in some effort, and despite a lack of screen time and getting some generic dialogue, they were able to really weave some heart into some characters that some actors would not have been able to do. So for that aspect, I was really happy to see them take some less demanding roles so they could just add to the overall fun of this movie. And I'll be honest, I didn't pay too much attention to this movie prior to watching it. I hear the name Hunter Killer, I see Gerard Butler in the lead. Naturally, I feel like I've seen it already. Promo material may not reach my desk, despite knowing that I'm probably going to see this movie anyway since I love action movies, which is why it was such a pleasant surprise to see the late Michael Nyquist playing the Russian captain. I genuinely love his work. It was tragic to hear of his passing, but seeing him deliver another late performance in this movie just brought a smile to my face. He had this one and I think one more in an upcoming Terrence Malick film, but he's definitely going to be missed. He was, no surprise, a great addition to this movie. He stole every scene he was in, and he captured a genuine chemistry with Butler that worked perfectly for the needs of this plot. The visual appeal of the film was great as well. The special effects were solid for the assumed budget of this movie. The underwater scenes were tense. They had me up on edge. The wide sweeping shots overhead captured the weight of the situations that the plot explored, which really effectively created suspense and ramifications to all the action sequences. It was fun to see these massive fleets and battleships and submarines launching torpedoes. All the things you want in a fictionalized military action movie, plus the subplot of the SEAL team splashed in nicely to provide some fun gunplay and some on-foot skirmishes that did give the overall serving of action a little bit of it all. The scenes were violent, they were gritty, they were very well captured, and to me, they were the best parts of the film despite not being the focal point. So regardless of it being very by the numbers plot-wise, it was an action movie, something that this movie served up like going to the buffet. It was on the long side, but it definitely filled the time with a lot of fast-paced action set pieces and a continually moving plot that felt like it took itself a little too seriously at times while feeling like it was having fun with itself during others. So overall, Hunter Killer gets a strong 75% on the entertainment meter. The ensemble cast and a focus on the action make this movie a good time and worth a matinee ticket to see on the big screen. It is routine in some places, but in the end it shows enough effort to be a great time at the cinema with a bucket of popcorn. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button, share it with your friends, leave a comment. I love to hear from you guys. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can be alerted when all the new videos pop up. All my social media links are going to be down in the description below. You can also visit the Silver Screen Analysis for a wide range of movie-related content, and here's some links to some recent reviews just in case you missed them.